Welcome to a new video and a new camera comparison between the Honor 70 and the Nothing Phone 1. So let's get started. So, and as usual, we start off with the camera specs. So we have a 54 megapixel very large sensor on the Honor 71 over 1.49 inch size, and we have a little bit smaller sensor but still 50 megapixel ultra wide angle. And on the Nothing Phone 1 we have a 50 megapixel main sensor, a little bit smaller than the one on the Honor, and a 50 megapixel ultra wide angle. Yeah, granted the Honor has a 2 megapixel depth sensor, but yeah, just ignore it for this. And on the front we have a 32 megapixel front-facing camera as well as a 16 megapixel front-facing camera on the Nothing Phone, and I think we will start off with the front-facing video. So this is now the front-facing video of the Nothing Phone 1, and it is limited to 1080p 30 frames per second, which is a bit of a bummer, I would say. I'm not even sure if it's using my external Boya mic now. Can tap on it, maybe it is using it, maybe it is not using it. At least I didn't see any option to configure it. It looks a bit bumpy on the viewfinder already. I'm not sure if the stabilization is working fine here on the front-facing camera, but this is what you can expect in terms of colors and in terms of the wide angle and in terms of stabilization and maybe HDR of the Nothing Phone 1. And this is now recording with the Honor 70's front-facing camera, also limited to 1080p, but 60 frames per second. That might be useful for some people that like to vlog, because you get a little bit of more, realistic. I was also vlogging in 60 frames per second a year ago, and I think it was working fine. So what do you think about the colors? What do you think about stabilization? I think the stabilization is non-existent on the Nothing Phone, and also the audio was not working. So it doesn't have any external audio support, which is also a big bummer, I would say. So it is not a vlogging phone for sure. So what do you think about the Honor 70's front-facing video here? And I think this might be very, very useful for vlogging, even though it doesn't have autofocus. And now I'm recording with the main back camera of the Nothing Phone 1, 4K 30, the maximum that this can record. And as I cannot use my Boya wireless microphone here, I am relying hopefully on a microphone that is there somehow on the back to pick up my voice. How is this for vlogging? I'm not so sure if the Nothing Phone is something good for vlogging. Can I switch to the ultra wide angle? Let's see. When I'm recording, I cannot switch to the ultra wide angle. I can only zoom in. So I can go and zoom in 2 times if I want to show you something there. But I cannot switch to the ultra wide angle, so I have to stop. And now I switched to the 50 megapixel ultra wide angle on the Nothing Phone 1. So another bummer, I would say, that you're not able to switch between the 50 megapixel main and the ultra wide angle, or the ultra wide angle and the main, because both can record 4K 30. For some reason they're not able to switch during recording, which is also, I think, a little bit of a bummer. And what do you think about this one here? The ultra wide angle, usually the vlogging cam, I would say, especially if you want to show your surroundings a little bit more, but of course the weaker cam as usual, because it is a smaller camera. What about stabilization, HDR and so on? So this is now recording with the Honor 70 and its 54 megapixel main camera, 4K 30, and I think this one has a bit of better background blur, maybe better HDR, but my face is always a little bit yellowish in the Honor phone. So what do you think about these colors? Are they competitive? Are they better than the Nothing Phone 1? What do you think about this one? The cool thing here, I can switch to the ultra wide angle, even though I'm recording still. So this is the ultra wide angle on the Honor 70. What do you think about this one here? I think this is the perfect vlogging phone, because you have all the abilities just like this one here that might be very handy. And of course, if you want to, you can also zoom in. So if I just turn around here and want to zoom in on the other side of the Rhine, for example, to see what people are doing there, I can just simply zoom in. This is now 1 time. And this is 2 times, just as a comparison for the Nothing Phone, and I can go in to 6 times if I want to. What do you think? And the Honor 70 has this multicam mode that is very, very useful for vlogging, where you can show certain things, just like, for example, I can show myself here and the way or the path that I'm walking to. And I can also switch lenses, and it's still recording my voice, where you can see the ultra wide angle and a zoomed in crop, where I can even like pan around and crop even more if I want to 5 times here, which is working pretty nicely. And of course I have many other options, just like, for example, I can only switch to the front facing camera here, and if I want to, I can show you what I'm seeing here right now, because there's a ship coming, and I can just switch lenses now, and now you can see the ship as well. I can even zoom in if I want to, and up to, what is it, 6 times again. And yeah, this is the possibility that I have here with the Honor 70, which is pretty cool, I would say, especially if you do some vlogs. So this is the perfect vlogging device. What the Nothing Phone offers me here is an HDR recording mode, which is recording, I think, in HDR 10 plus, and this allows me to have a bit of richer color, especially with the sun in the background. But it's limited to 1080p only, 1080p 30 to be exact. So I'm not sure if this is pretty good or not. And also I think I have limits in terms of zoomability. Yes, I don't have any zoom capabilities here, so I cannot zoom in onto those ships here passing by. And you can see how low the Rhine is currently. So yeah, is it really good in terms of HDR? We will see. And as you heard, the Nothing Phone's internal mics all the time, because I could not use my external microphone. Here's now a sample on the Honor 70 and its internal microphone. And yeah, there's a bit of wind going on. What do you think about this one? How does it handle the audio quality here, and which one is better? We have the photos on the left, always the Honor 70, on the right always the Nothing Phone. This is the front-facing camera, and what you can clearly see is we have a bit more brighter exposure, a bit more better white balance on the Honor 70, a bit more yellowish kind of tone on the Nothing Phone. And for some reason the Nothing Phone is taking 16 megapixel pictures, so no pixel binning, and the Honor is taking 8 megapixels, so it's using pixel binning. And this is what you can see here clearly in the details. And if you look at here, it is noisy on the Nothing Phone, the details are lacking. I think the Nothing Phone is doing not a good job in comparison to the Honor. The Honor is clearly the winner in terms of selfies. When it comes to low light photography, we have a bit of yellowish kind of tint on the Honor, and we have a bit of whitish, more coolish kind of, or greenish kind of tint on the Nothing Phone. When the Nothing Phone is failing in terms of focus, Honor 70 has the focus, but is also over sharpening things up. When we take a look at the next photo, we can see that the Nothing Phone has no post-processing when not turning on a night mode automatically. This is the auto mode, and Honor 70 uses its night mode already to use up to brighten things up. You can go, of course, to the night mode on the Nothing Phone and on the Honor 70. On the Honor 70, nothing much changes, maybe a little bit better of noise reduction. On the Nothing Phone, it looks a bit more shaky still, and less details. But of course, you can go also to manual mode, and in manual mode the Nothing Phone is really shining, because here you can see in manual mode it is a tiny bit sharper on the edge here in terms of sharpening and clarity, and where the Honor 70 has a bit of a better sharpness is, I think, here towards this bluish kind of car. This was taken 1/10 of a second, and I think it was ISO 400 or 800 that I used here on both with a tripod, so they can both perform very well in dark light situations. The Honor 70 again on the left without the night mode, and the Nothing Phone with the night mode. The Nothing Phone is clearly beating here the Honor 70 without the night mode. You can clearly see a bit more details here, but you can see that this little LED lamp is smudged out because the too aggressive noise filtering or denoising is filtering this out, where the Honor keeps a bit of more noise but also more details. Like here, this little dot is the LED indicator that is clearly not visible here. Otherwise, this is more green yellowish kind of on the Honor 70 for some reason, but you can get a bit of better with turning on night mode. You can clearly see there's still the detail here. It's denoising stuff. It's doing a little bit better here in the black area where it's a bit brighter on the Nothing Phone, but we have clearly more noise than on the Honor 70. So in ultra dark situations, that's the case. The Honor 70 has one very special thing that I want to show you. This is a raw picture that I took with the Honor 70, a DNG file, and this was on purpose underexposed, so I used, I think, ISO 100 and in Pro mode, and I left everything else. But what you can do is you don't need to use Photoshop for this or Lightroom on your smartphone. You can just use the inbuilt photo editor and can bump up everything, and the end result is such a thing here, which looks super sharp and detailed. And you can even read some text here of this water bottle. Granted, there's some processing going on here and not everything is perfect, but to have the feature of raw capability and taking shots allows you to do such things that you cannot do on the Nothing phone. At least I didn't find a raw option on the Nothing phone. The Nothing phone, however, has the 50 megapixel main camera shooting experience. On the Honor 70, I can shoot 50 and 54 megapixel photos, so the ultra wide angle and the main can shoot in full resolution, and this is what you can get. The Honor 70 54 megapixels and the Nothing phone 50. What we can see here clearly is more noise on the Honor 70, so the slightly higher megapixel count shows here in a little bit more noise, and you can clearly see as well here that there's a bit more detail on the Nothing phone, where you can read this old book's Deutschmark price still here, 24.99, where it's a little bit harder to read on the Honor 70. Let's check out daylight pictures. Daylight pictures are pretty fine on both, but we can clearly see that it's a bit more smudgy and less detailed on the Nothing phone, where the Honor 70 is doing a bit over sharpening as well, but you can clearly see a little bit more details here in the background on the trees. And you can also clearly see that when you're zooming in, that you have much better shots on the Honor 70. It doesn't look pretty on the Honor 70, but in comparison to the Nothing phone, that for some reason, I'm not sure what's doing here, is just failing. And if you go to 4x zoom, which is the maximum I would recommend on the Honor 70, it still looks okay-ish, but it's like falling completely apart with lots and lots of noise and almost no details at all on the Nothing phone. So the Nothing phone in terms of 4x zoom loses. This shot here shows the difference in colors. Again, a bit of more yellowish kind of cast on the Honor 70 and more greenish kind of cast and more bluish eventually as well on the Nothing phone. In terms of detail and sharpness level, I think the Nothing phone has a bit more details here towards the side, but when it comes to the middle here where the boat is or the ship is, we have a bit more sharpness on the Honor 70. When it comes to the ultra wide angle, the Honor 70 has a wider field of view. You can clearly see it here at the balcony, where you have the whole balcony in shot, and here we only have the first half of the balcony in shot, and on the other side we have this in shot, and here we have this in shot, almost the same kind of what we can see here is more chromatic aberrations on the Honor 70, so towards the edges it's losing against the Nothing phone, but has a wider field of view. I think towards the middle we have like almost on par. There's a bit of more sharpening going on the Nothing phone, and maybe a little bit also sharper and less sharp on the Honor 70 when it comes to the ultra wide angle shots, but very close together. When we come to close-up shots, this is now taken with the main lens. Again, we see a bit of more yellowish kind of hue and a bit of more greenish kind of hue. I did so many shots with the Nothing phone, but I could never get this fruit in sharpness here. Even stepped back, but it never wanted it to be sharp. The Honor phone focused on this fruit here, but has the front a bit unsharp. That shows the larger sensor here. In terms of background bokeh, I think we have a bit more pleasant background bokeh, a bit more stronger on the Honor 70. When it comes to close-up shots with the macro lens, both utilize their ultra-wide angle. The Nothing phone, however, cannot get so close. I think 4 centimeters is the maximum that it says, but I couldn't get any closer. Otherwise, it would not give me a focus confirmation. So this is what I could get, and this is what I could get on the Honor 70. On the Honor 70, I could even closer, have a little bit out of focus here, but the above thing is still in focus. You can see how much better it looks like. And here again, another shot to show you the difference in close focusing distance using the macro mode. Then in terms of detail level and HDR, both on par. There's not much of a difference here when it comes to the details on this leaves. When it comes to this shot, that shocked me a little bit because HDR on the Nothing phone is simply something to run away from. Both look fine, but if you zoom in, you can clearly see there's HDR completely and sharpening completely gone wrong on the Nothing phone. And I had several such shots. You don't see it on the phone, you see it when you're home, and they look just simply so bad. See this outline, everything sharpened up. See this like white kind of thing, and compare it here to the Honor. The Honor is not perfectly sharp in this case, but it doesn't have this over-processed kind of look that the Nothing phone has here. And yeah, I don't like the Nothing phone here at all. Because it's so artificial looking and so much sharpness, so much HDR effect here, really bad. And then something where the Nothing phone with the main lens is beating the Honor 70, one of the rare occasions where you can see here clearly overexposure on the Honor 70, and the Nothing phone has no overexposure. I think the yellow is still a little bit here melting here, too much melting here, still okay. And yeah, this is the last shot. What do you think? I'm preferring the Honor 70. I have to say the Nothing phone is nothing to write home about. It's yeah, average at best, and the Honor 70, in my opinion, is clearly beating, if not, when I'm looking at this here, destroying the Nothing phone. And yeah, this looks really bad. And also in nighttime photography, I think the Honor 70, even though you have this yellowish kind of hue, is beating the Nothing phone in night mode as well. What do you think about this result? So what do you think? Who's the clear winner here? I think it is really clear. The Honor 70 destroys the Nothing phone 1 in terms of video and vlog capabilities. What about photos? It's a bit closer here, but I still think that the Honor has an edge over the Nothing phone. What do you think about this one? Especially focusing with the main cam is much more accurate on the Honor phone. Macro photography is much better as well. And I think the ultra wide angle also has a slight edge over the Nothing phone. What do you think about this results? Are you surprised? Write it down in the comment section. That's everything for this short little video. Until the next time, bye.